welcome back. We are going to be making our most highly commented video today, cookie clicker, as you've seen in my comments, which are locked and there's no comments. But I knew what you guys were thinking. And I got it for you today. We're going to make some awesome cookie clicker. So, as you see on my screen, we have a bunch of sprites here. For now, we're just gonna go ahead and hide all of these. That's to make the game extreme and fun later, which we're gonna do all that fun stuff. But for right now, we can get a basic cookie clicker game going in no time, with some really nice animations, because it's a simple game, so we wanna make sure our animations are up to par and everything's working good. So, let's jump right in. So, we have this game starting on our flag, all right? So when we click our flag, we're gonna do stuff. So first thing I'm gonna do is create a variable called clicks, okay? Clicks, or how about instead of clicks? Yeah, clicks, not cookies. Clicks, not cookies. So we're gonna set clicks to 1. And this is basically just gonna say, like, when we click that cookie, we might upgrade this thing later. But for now, when we click that cookie, it's just gonna be equal to 1. And we are going to also create a new variable called cookies, right? And that will be our score code for the game. And for that one, we will set that to 0. So clicks to 1, cookies to 0. Awesome. And let's get started in a loop here. Loop. Forever. This is one of my favorite parts of this code, or simple coding that works really great. This is a go-to, and so we're gonna make it go-to 0, 0, so our cookie goes in the middle of the screen, obviously. But if I put it up here, then when I start, the cookie will always go to the middle. Whereas if I put it inside the forever loop, it's like it always snaps right back to the middle, which I don't know. Something about that is just a little satisfying. So that'll be working good. But we've got a tremendous amount of work to do in our next code here. So what we want to do is make our cookie kind of sit there and bounce and rotate just enough so that it looks tasty even when you're not cooking it or eating it. So for this one, we're going to need 2 multiplication operators, 1 addition operator. And we are also going to pull out this, now we're really getting into some funky stuff here, abs of space. So for this one, we need to create a little loop inside of a loop. And we're going to say the sin of, instead of abs, sin of timer, which we can find in sensing. When the timer is being multiplied by 100 times that by 5, and put that all plus 90. So now the idea here is basically we have it pointing in direction 90. That's why it's our first code here. Plus the sin, using those numbers we've coded in there, is going to go back and forth. Instead of picking one number where the cookie just sits, now it'll start rotating ever so slightly. So if I click the flag, we can already see that happening, and maybe that's happening a little quick for you, or maybe that's happening a little wide, and so we can play with those numbers, but for now we're going to stick with that. Let's keep it moving. All right, so now we need to put in some controls, except we don't want to quite yet code the clicking. So underneath our point and direction, we'll put an if, else, if then else block here, and this is going to do, if this thing is happening, then do this, otherwise do this, or else do this. And basically what we're going to do is, if we're hovering over the cookie, get nice and big, otherwise, stay a little big but not too big. A little big but not too big. So we're going to use our set size to here, and we can actually pull this out. And we'll just do it twice. So we'll pull out the operator. For this, we need 2 operators. It's going to be our subtraction and our division. And in this case, we do also need to grab a little size circle that you can find at the bottom of your looks here. And we're basically going to say 225 minus size. Now, 225 might change. This is just a range that was good when I originally made the game. But we'll figure it out from there. This goes here, and 2. And then we'll put that all in our set size to percentage. We'll say that. But we can actually just take this, copy it, paste it. Oops, not what I intended. We'll just duplicate it here. Now, we don't want them to be the same size if that's happening, but we want it to be just smaller if we're not actually on it. So let's try 200. So now when I click the flag, it's already occurring, it's rotating, but if I put my mouse over it, we pop, and it has a set size. So it's a little pop. It's not the prettiest cookie in the world. Now, oh, big mention. We have all of these sprites for you on Scratch, ready for you to go. So it's called Cookie Clicker Copy. You'll have an easier time finding it if you just go right to my Scratch channel, So Script, and you can just remix it. You won't have to make any of these sprites yourselves, and you can just pick the game up right where we're starting here, okay? So anyways, let's get back to coding. So our cookie's sitting really nice, but it's not really doing anything yet, okay? But it is snapping back when we want it to. So let's keep her moving. Now what we kind of need to code is that scoring process here. So let's do it. Events, when this sprite clicked. We're gonna broadcast click, okay? And that's just for some later game stuff as we, made that click variable earlier. We're not even gonna activate it yet. But if we want to add double clickers and auto clickers and more fun stuff to this game, then it's good to have callbacks for stuff like that. So click, we're going to add in a nice little if bar here. If operator equal to, and basically we're going to say if clicks is equal to 1, put that up there. Let's say create a clone of myself. That's what we want to do. We want to create one clone of the cookie. So it kind of like falls as we're doing it. And then basically I'm just doing this again for late game stuff. We'll say if clicks is equal to 2, then in that case we'll do the same thing except we'll repeat the process twice, which you guys might even be familiar with how simple that looks. So if it's 1, do it once. If it's twice, repeat it twice. And from there, we want to change cookies by clicks. That's going to be pretty important. So right at the bottom of this one, go ahead and put change cookies and then by clicks. And we want the click motion to give us a little love, maybe something a little bigger than one of these. So I'm going to pull this out, duplicate it, ding, ding, and we'll make this like 250. Oh boy, oh boy. We might have a game on our hands here already. So we're collecting cookies. As you can see, there's some clones coming up in the back. We're going to find a way to get rid of those as they come, but we already got a little game. Let's keep it moving. All right, so let's say, let's make our clones ghosty and falling and just like we saw it and already made this game. So I will act like I'm just coming up with this, but I'm not. We coded this whole game together. When I say we, it was just me. That is true. I did get help from a YouTuber originally on some of this initial fancy make your cookie look special code. But that's what it's about. It's about collaboration, right? So let's do this thing. When I start as a clone, again, we're going to go to X0, Y0 easily. Then we're going to set on a ghost effect because we don't want it to look like the original cookie. We'll set ghost effect to... We'll play with that a little bit. And we'll set size a little smaller. 40% should look good. Again, these are all numbers you can play with. What works, what doesn't work. Now, we need to do something very important here. variables. We're going to create 2 to make this thing fall nicely and work good. This is a bit of a gravity creation. We're going to make a couple variables, but really important, when you make these variables, it is for this sprite only. Let's see what that looks like. For this sprite only. And we can do X speed clone, the classic. Oh, not that. X speed clone for this sprite only. Say it with me. Say it with your brother. Say it with your mother. For this sprite only. And we're going to make another one, Y speed clone. So, depending on how much you guys know about our X and Y axis, very important to understand those things, because that's how the computer sees the world, through X's and Y's, or at least how it interprets what you're telling it through. So you got to speak through X and Y. And basically, we're just going to design a little code so that this thing falls nicely. It pops this way or that way, and it falls nicely. So first thing we're going to do, we will set X clone, X speed clone to, and what this is going to do is pick a spot somewhere above the cookie or around the cookie. If it's right on the cookie, we won't see it. So we're going to pick random, somewhere between, I think, -8 and 8 is fine. It'll be pretty close to our radar here, but all around. And then we'll set our Y speed clone to 10. That way the cookie just starts up here. And we can also unclick all this stuff and just leave cookies, right? Ding, ding, ding. But we will set Y speed clone to 10. Yes, very good. So that is done, and now we just need to create our loop so that it falls nicely forever. When I become this clone, how will I act? I'm going to point in direction of the Y speed clone because I want to go up. Y speed clone. And then I'm going to change my X by X speed clone. And I'm going to change my Y by Y speed clone. So I'll get that ready. All the way down. Oops. Change my X by X speed clone. Change my Y by Y speed clone. And then we'll change Y speed clone by -1 each time. So it keeps falling. Falling. By -1. Very important that this is negative, or else our cookies are going to go up. You don't want that. Okay, and then we're just going to have to add one more code after this. But we already have some pretty cookies that are falling behind us. Problem is, the clones are building up on the floor here. So really quickly, let's add some code to fix that. When I start as a clone, forever, if touching edge, oh, that was the wrong way. If, I want to show you guys something special in just a minute, and it has nothing to do with coding if you're sick of coding. We're going to put a weight here. This is very important. In events, weight, and it can be like 0.1 second, 0.01 second even, just to give the computer a second. And then we'll delete this clone. Okay, guys, you have a cookie clicker game. You did it, really, already, just like that. You press this flag, you click the cookie, it looks pretty, and this is something you can already show off, but you've put in code for a much longer, much greater game in here, and I think we should do the whole thing. But, first things first, please say hi to Goose. Goose, say hi to the camera. Hi, Goose. I just want to climb on my dad. That's all. So, that's all you get a Goose. That's all you need to get a Goose. All right, I lost my camera angle. All right, so let's go right from here. We got a great game, and let's jump into our next sprite here, our double click. All right, guys, here we go. We are about to work on our double click that we will unlock at 100 cookies. As you can see, I put it on the screen. I basically just click this little eye to make it appear. Everything is just kind of hidden just like that. And we'll keep it hidden until we need it. So let's do this thing. This is a pretty quick one. Let's jump right through it. When flag clicked, and you'll see some of our activations are actually not too much here. But when flag clicked, we're going to go to, I had previously this spot as 182, 123, but we can play with that. Forever, if touching the mouse, and this is where we get into a little bit of logic, or the same thing we were doing before. So you know what, if that's the case, why don't we just take it right from the cookie? It's gonna be very, very similar to this. Duplicate it, put this one back where it belongs, and then carry this one over to our double click, put this away. Should be waiting for us here. Wonderful. We'll say, oh, forget that part of it. If touching mouse pointer, and we don't want it to be quite as big as our cookie, so we'll start at that lower number, and there we go. So I press play, that bounces, and that bounces. Wonderful. Okay. And now let's give it some power. And we're going to say when this sprite clicked, if you got enough money, give them the honey, right? So when this sprite clicked, if, and we'll get an operator here that says greater than. Remember, that's the alligator that's eating you. We'll say if cookies is greater than 99, because the price is 100, right? But if cookies is greater than 99, goof, we're gonna set clicks to 2. So this is where we put in that activation. We're gonna set clicks to 2. So now for every click, we'll get 2 cookies. We're gonna change cookies by -100 because you bought that and it costs money, or cookies at least. And we are going to also ghost effect this out so it looks like we can't, you know, purchase it anymore. So let's do change ghost effect. And let's do it heavily, like a 75. And then we are going to broadcast a message that will be important later. So in events, we're going to broadcast, and I would rename it just to keep things clear. Double click paid. Okay. Boom. Double click paid. And guys, that's it. You did it. You can already play from here. Pick this up. Click the cookie 100 times. And by the time you get, well, I guess let's test it, right? It's the only way to know. We're not testing the auto clicker. It'll take me too long. We're almost at 100 anyways. All right, we click this, go down to 2, it gets nice and ghosty, and it even adds 2 cookies to flying out because we activated that in our code. So when we click, we don't just get 1 cookie, we get 2. Wow. All right, now on to our next code. We're gonna add our auto clicker next. All right, here we go with our auto clicker code here. So again, I'm just gonna make it show, appear. Now this one is not in a good spot, so this will be a better start from jump. And let's do this the whole way through, right? This is gonna be a little bit longer than our double click though, so prepare for that. All right, when flag clicked, we need to kind of initiate the auto clicker altogether. And so for that, we are going to make a variable. Auto clicker, and this can go for all sprites, that's no problem. We are gonna, when flag clicked, set auto clicker to 0, so leave that as such. Let's go to motion here. Let's go to, and the numbers that I had that worked best were 187. Why? Oh, no, not 187, that's it. And then Y25. Let's see, where does that take it? Yeah, just too big yet, just a little too big yet. And then again, we're actually adding, let's take it right from this one so they're the same size. I'm gonna duplicate this, put that back where it belongs. This one can go over to auto clicker, And that one can go to the trash. I think they're going to be right around the same size. So we'll see what that looks like in a 1, 2, 3. Oof. That one might just be too big. It's a wee bit ugly. Ugly, huh? All right, so what we'll do is we'll go back to the double click, make you more like a 190 sitting with a 170 here. Okay, it's shaking, which means things aren't sitting properly, or math isn't mathing nicely for the thing. Okay, we'll keep trying. 185, does that make you happy? Oh, I've really squeezed it. 184. Okay. 180, 162. Let me see if I change this to that. 180, 162. Okay, and then I think we can move our auto clicker a little to the left because it's just weird. So we'll go Y, or I mean X, 185. Does that make a big difference? Probably not. Yeah, just slightly. Okay, I'm liking where they're sitting. Let's move on. There's a lot of code to do. All right, so what are we gonna do? When this sprite clicked, we're gonna do our same activation code. So when this sprite clicked, if we'll grab that greater than again, and we'll say cookies greater than $2.99 is gonna be the price on our auto clicker. You guys can change that, feel free. Don't make it too cheap. Is the real world. Things cost money and time is money. So we're gonna change our cookies by -300, right? Because that's how much it costs to use this auto clicker. We're gonna do another broadcast event here, another new one. So I want you to say broadcast auto click paid. Cool. I'm sorry that I didn't type that correctly, but it's not terribly important, so I'm not gonna go back and fix that. And we just want to change our ghost effect. That's just to make it look like we already purchased it and you can't purchase it again. So that's that. But we haven't even put in the code to make the auto clicker auto click. Now, we're already gonna activate that broadcast right here. So we're gonna say, when I receive auto click paid, which in my case, I didn't type it fully correctly. When I receive auto click paid, then we're gonna set auto clicker, which we set earlier, to 0. We're gonna set auto clicker to 3. So now we're auto clicking away at 3, except we're not yet. You'll find out about that soon. We have to do that. Forever, underneath that set auto clicker, we're gonna change cookies by auto clicker. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe why didn't we just say change cookies by 3 or every 3 seconds? Because we're gonna put this weight underneath. Oh, why didn't we just do that? Why didn't we just make it easier? Well, we're going to add another auto clicker later. We're going to add grandma's auto clicker, which is more and more and more. So if we can just change that auto clicker number, what it's set to, then we don't need to redo this code every single time. And so this is realistically a little more foolproof. In here, I'm going to make it a ½ wait in between. So you get 3 cookies every ½ second once you pay for your auto clicker. And we're going to create a clone of, Sprite 5. So you guys haven't been there yet. Yeah. So we will create a clone what we want to do is create this. Oh, what happened here? This is our was supposed to be plus 3. And then the next costume would be, let's just go ahead and duplicate that, plus 50. Okay, so I know this makes no sense as of right now, but that's okay. Not importante. So we'll go back into that code for our auto clicker, and we'll say create clone of, in my case, it's named Sprite 2, the one that we are looking for. Sprite 2, our costume is 1. We'll fix the costumes later. So we're in auto clicker. We create clone of Sprite 2, and we still haven't set our clicker to actually work. We've just told it what to do. So, and this will create a little clone that kind of says like 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. Nothing too special. We'll get to that later. For right now, we still need to code the code. When flag clicked, forever, if auto clicker equal to 3, we're going to create 3 clones of the original cookie. Create clone of cookie, the original cookie, because that's just making those clones that fall apart. We've already got, like, we'll get the cookie numbers, we'll get the score for it. Now we're just making the visuals work. And wait 5 seconds so that this the same weight that's here, we need to put it here so that things work at the same time, right? 0.5. Okay, and we are all done with our auto clicker. Our next hard code and last hard code is going to be our grandma. Let's take 2 seconds to regroup, and we'll jump right into that. Okay, guys, here we got grandma's cookies over here. I just made it visible here, and we're going to kind of repeat the same process that we've been doing this whole time. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do what I've been doing where I just copy and paste. I'm going to grab it from my double click cookie. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to bring it over to grandma. This one can get thrown away. And grandma is going to be much lower. She can be right around that 182, 190 number. We'll figure that out after. But grandma can be more like negative 87. And then 180, 162. Let's try it. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so I click that flag. And grandma's sitting just a little too high, a little too big. So we'll lower her, negative 91. And we'll make her a wee bit smaller, love, okay? So we'll say 174 and 154. She just started bigger. Oh my goodness. And 154. She's still shaking a lot. So the shaking has to do with this lower number. That's kind of the sitting. Okay, beautiful. What do you guys think? That makes sense. Now, if they're shaking the way it's shaking here, that's just because your number isn't sitting perfectly. It's not getting perfect division. It's trying to decide between 2 numbers. So if I go to grandma, that means this high number here isn't sitting perfectly. You can try another even number up, and now it's sitting nicely. So that's kind of just a little play around with that. But let's keep it moving. So what are we going to do? When this Sprite clicked, same kind of deal. Actually, I think we can kind of copy it from here, and that should even be nice and easy. So I'll take this, I'll bring it over to grandma. I'll make sure I throw this one away because I don't want recursion. We'll say when this Sprite clicked, if cookies, and in this case, it's going to be greater than $4.99 because we're going to make grandma cost $500. Then we'll change cookies by negative $500. And we're going to change this to say grandma is paid, okay? has to be different. Make sure this is different here. That's the only thing that has to be different other than the numbers, but grandma has to be paid if you're gonna get cookies, right? So let's keep it moving. And we're gonna say when I receive, grandma is paid. We're gonna set auto clicker to 50. Set auto clicker to 50. And forever, we are going to change cookies by auto clicker wait half a second, same as we did for the other one, and create that clone for the numbers for Sprite 2 in this case, Sprite 2, but it's going to be the +3 and +50, okay? +3 and +50, because that's basically what the codes are. And we'll come back to that. We're going to finish that up. I promise, when we get our last 2 sprites, which are going to be the fastest of all these. So we're almost done here. Keep pressing hard with me. So one more block of code for grandma. Let's do it, right? And we're going to say when flag clicked, forever, if auto clicker is equal to 50, then we got to create clone of the cookie, the original cookie, okay? That way we just, as it's auto creating, or our score is auto going up, we're also auto shooting out cookies, and we're gonna see what this looks like in just a second. Create clone of cookie. All right, guys, now this is really a great game just like that. You don't need the numbers or anything else going forward. The game works totally, perfectly good. These can all activate. You're gonna enjoy what it looks like when you cook. When you finally get 500 cookies and you pay grandma, it's a cool visual. We can also add a little, super simple background just to make it a little more enticing. Now it looks like we're eating. That actually made it look, I feel like, 10 times better. I don't know if you guys agree. But let's get rid of that for our auto clicker. And let's just finish strong here, guys. Let's code up our numbers sprites just to give us a little more activity on the screen. We're going to come back for that. All right, so the first thing you might notice about this number, I actually have a 1 and a 2 here. These are for both of our clickers, is that they are turned diagonally really funky. There's going to be better code for this. But we just worked it really quickly at the end. This is how it works. Put it in. Don't make it better yourself. But this will work for what I need it to work for. I'm going to switch to costume 1. Want you in costume 1. And hide. We'll say when I receive click. These are why we added all of those broadcasts throughout. We're kind of to activate these. So every time I get a click, we're going to create a clone of myself. When I receive double click paid, I'm going to switch to our other costume. Receive double click paid. That's when we need to switch to our other costume. Switch costume to costume 2. And then we need to just set up our clone code, what to do once we are a clone. When I start as a clone, please show me off to the world. We're going to point me in direction 90. This was part of the problem with my coding. Yeah. So we're going to point in direction 90. And then it's going to switch immediately and point in direction -45. And that should help you. I'm just kind of the direction towards the corner here. We'll do a little repeat move. move 15 steps. Definitely much better code for this, guys, by the way. And I'd love for you guys to send me it. I just, you know, sometimes you brute force in a code, and that's okay. And we're going to change our size by a negative. As we repeat this motion, I'm going to change our size by a -7. Then we will delete this clone. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. I stop, click the flag, and now every time I click this, we are getting that 1 kind of just pop up in the corner. That's not really where I wanted it. Something's not great. Let's take a look. Costumes. Certainly not sitting in the center. That's not the difference, is it? It's not nothing. Okay. I mean, don't know why this would be here, really. Unless I meant... Yeah, I guess we want to go to cookie, too. So that's probably what that was supposed to be. I think something happened there. And this should be like go to Sprite 1, go to the cookie. And that way we just get a full action, yeah. Yeah, that's better. It's shooting there. Yeah. We can put it right above, but that's good. That's good. All right, let's go to the, let's finish this thing strong. Let's go do our last set of code. All right, guys, just about done here. Let's finish it up with that +3 and +50 costume we have here. When flag clicked, switch to costume 1. Make sure we're in that +3 zone and hide. When I start as a clone, I'm gonna go to, see, I actually set a number for this one. Okay, we're leaving it as is for today. Go to -101, 162, and we're gonna show. We're gonna do a similar thing where we repeat 10 times. We'll change the size by 5. We'll wait 0.1 second. 1 second. And then we'll change ghost effect. Or actually, that would be, let's go 0.01. And we'll do a little ghost effect again, because that's been our most famous of the day. We'll delete this clone at the end. And remember, we need to activate this with a message as always. Guys, last 2 blocks here. Finish strong. Finish strong. When I receive, grandma is paid. Switch to costume 2. Yeah! We did it. So you have a full cookie clicker game here. It may not be perfect, but it's pretty good. I promise you it's very good. We've got a lot of action going on the screen. Ding, 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 ding. And we have some working tools in the game, auto clicker, double clicker, stuff like that. And we were able to do this in, you know, not too much time. To add all this special stuff to the game really didn't take us too long. You guys did awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe, like the videos, check out what else we got to offer, and keep on coding. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time.